everyone. Welcome to El Tel Kakarel. A happy hump day. Uh, Happy whatever other day that you might be celebrating. I'm still celebrating that Villa victory. Honestly, I've been high all week. I can't stop being happy. Like the smile just won't go off my face. I'm so happy. As you can see, I'm totally fully coiled today because I'm so happy. Uh, Unfortunately, I don't fit into any of my childhood kits anymore. So I'm having to dig into my brother's childhood kits while I'm at home at my parents' house. Um, so if Dada, if you're watching, I'm really sorry, but this is now mine. So bye bye. Um, uh, Everyone, welcome to the show. I hope you're all doing well. We have with us, as always, on the View from Asia, the lovely, the politest person on the internet, the most outstanding, and the voice of reason on this show. We have with us Chang. Chang, how you doing?
Doing very, very, very well. Thank you very much for the introduction. What can I say? I can only mirror and reflect everything that you said at the beginning of the show of just what a fantastic and fabulous weekend it has been for us. That win, that amazingly satisfying. And not only that, it was comfortable and really, inspiring that win. We totally brutalized Aston Villa, just as we did Arsenal all those seasons ago under Conte when we completely took them to the cleaners at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and went on to secure fourth at their expense. I fully believe that this statement win over Aston Villa has that same effect on Villa because make no mistake, that was a 6 pointer for me. Even before the show, I believe last Wednesday, I did mention to you on this very channel at this very same time slot that whoever wins this match will just go on and secure fourth place and Champions League qualification. And I feel that we have more than deserved it. The 4-0 emphatic win has already given us that goal difference advantage. And all we need to do now is just to carry on game by game by bringing on this momentum, this, this forward sort of a drive that has seen us win two back-to-back league games for the first time in I cannot remember how long ago. But let's just keep it going. Let's not let up. Don't let up against Fulham away at Craven Cottage this weekend. And come on, you Spurs. Ash, you're on mute, Ash.
Oh, sorry. Absolutely, I was saying, come on, you Spurs. I'm sorry. There's been some construction happening near my in my neighbor's house, and so I'm trying to drown out the noise by putting myself on mute, but it isn't really working. Anyway, come on, you Spurs is absolutely right. Just a small bit of housekeeping. If anybody's watching from Twitter or from anywhere other than YouTube, drop us a comment so that we know where you're watching from, because we know the numbers on YouTube, but sometimes we don't know you if you're unless you comment, and it's just harder to keep track unless you comment for us. So if you're watching from somewhere anywhere other than YouTube, make sure you drop a comment as well. And we have in the house the supervisor in chief, El Tel Cockerel, pointing out, perhaps slightly sarcastically, that a very professional Ash, glad Chang is keeping it real, lol. Yeah, absolutely. We just we do these rookie mistakes here on El Tel Cockerel when the supervisor is absent. But now that he's present, the show will run well. Um, so, Chang, let's get into it. Let's just sort of discuss this. Let's discuss the game. Do you think that this is our best 11? Now, I know that Richarlison is injured. He might come back into contention. There's a few more lying hereabouts, Bentancur, etc. So, do you think that this is our best 11?
For sure, hands down. If the result, the performance if the dynamism and the cohesiveness of our team as a unit is anything to go by, this is by far the best 11 that we can put together on the day. Although if there is only one criticism that I had for our players in the first half, it was just how it was kind of a bit of a disappointment to not see Brennan Johnson and Kulusevski maintain the same kind of intensity that they showed in the second half in the first half. That was my only complaint. But other than that, yeah, this is arguably our best 11. Maybe the only thing I might want to tinker with, if that is at all possible, is maybe rotating between Timo Werner, Kulusevski, and Brennan Johnson on the left and right wing. That is maybe the only thing I would like to think. The other thing is maybe if Bentancur were to get back to his beastly best that we've seen him provide during the Conte era, maybe Bentancur would be a better fit if we need someone else other than Bissouma to deputize in the defensive midfield role. But yeah, you could say that currently this is our best 11. I wouldn't want to change it any other way for our upcoming weekend's fixtures against Fulham at Craven Cottage, because we have seen for ourselves just how disastrous that squad rotation can be when you put in players that haven't played together for so long. And that was very evident earlier this season when we played Fulham away at Craven Cottage in that very disappointing League Cup loss that we went out to on penalties. So let's just maintain this as our best 11. Let's just go to Craven Cottage, just grade the 3 points, give our all, because I think there's a mini international break after this. So just don't fix the squad if it isn't broke. That's all. Maybe Dragoshin for Van der Ven, now that maybe Van der Ven will be out for some time. But yes, this is our best 11. Back to you, Miss Ash.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I just gotta say hello to a few people in the chat. We have some superstars in the chat. We have Adrian. Good morning, Adrian. How you doing? I'm guessing navy blue robe today. Um, and then we gotta get Adrian one of these cool Spurs robes, and maybe like a bright hot pink robe as well. I feel like he'd do well in one of those. And then we have TC Gub here as well, saying hello. Hi, TC Gub. How you doing? All good? Uh, oh, and then we have Spurs Kings TV. How do you know this is Marlon? Was
Marlon, I believe this should be Marlon from Spurs King TV. I have
so this
seen
is
him.
Ash?
I have actually seen Marlon from Spurs King TV for a good long while now when he does the watch alongs on We Are Tottenham TV along with
Yeah, I've seen him as
Barnaby, I believe.
well.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen Marlon appear on We Are Tottenham TV. So thank you, Mr. Marlon, for tuning in. Welcome to Elta Cockerel and the View from Asia from me, Chang, a Malaysian from Southeast Asia, and also Miss Ash from India.
And we have Saint Martin with us. Hi, Saint Martin. Seems like everything clicked to H. Agreed. I mean, I have. And then we have the man with the best drip, Lee Smithy Smith. Morning, Ash and Senor Chang. Where's the bonjour gone, Lee Smith? Lee, did you forget your French? Um, and just came out from Mia's stream. Appreciate that, Mia. Thank you so much for sending everyone over. Big up, Mia. And everyone who isn't from there, please do subscribe to Spurs Between the Lines. And then we have Ben here, who has been inundating us with memes for the last 1.5 days after he's returned from his snowy vacation. And there's Jazz Fusion is here as well, saying morning all. Morning to you, Jazz Fusion. um and oh, Adrian says I got the rope correct. Adrian and I exist on the same frequency. Either that or I'm spying on him, which would mean a whole different thing altogether. And police would be involved. And then we have Jose saying hi to everyone. He's saying morning to me. I already said morning to you, Jose. And then Ellie saying, Ash and Chang, much love. Ashley, you look beautiful and got the brains. And I love Chang's jersey. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. I love Chang's jersey as well. Chang is the king of kids. He really is. Um, and then we have Wayne Bonner saying, hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. A good 2-0 or 3-0 win for Spurs on Saturday. Um, yeah, I was asking for this. If anyone knows me for the last couple of weeks, I've just been going, please just give me a comfortable 3-0 victory. Please just give me a comfortable 3-0 victory. And they did one better. They gave me a comfortable 4-0 victory. So, I mean, it wasn't completely comfortable in the first half, but it's the most I can expect in a big game like that. Um, TC Gub is saying the name is Trading Card Game Hub. Trading Card Game Hub. I will remember that. Um, is there anyone else we have to say hi to? Yeah, there are a bunch of people. There we go. There's three-legged dog. Love that name. Uh, saying hi guys, good morning, evening to all. Yes, good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you're having fun. And we have the best Agumbar in the world, Chris Agumbar, saying namaste ni hao to you as well, Chris. Um, yeah, let's get down to it. Someone had a comment. Yeah. The way Spurs played versus Villa was genuinely a new thing. Fascinating Fulham game. Yeah, do you think that this is the first time we've really, like, we've seen Ange Ball before, right? It's been in the first 10 games we saw Ange Ball sort of clicking into gear. But is this the first game after that difficult period where you think that, okay, now this is Ange Ball because of the way Udogi and Poro played in this game? Particularly Udogi, but like Poro in the first half, but Udogi throughout the second half, I think both of them were just amazing. Do you think that this is the first time that we're really truly seeing the potential of what it could be, where we blow teams away?
Actually, I mean, yes, this is one of the latest or the most recent times we've seen the squad really click together. But if I were to be perfectly honest, I believe we actually did see glimpses of this earlier this season, especially during that 10-game unbeaten run at the beginning of the season. If you to remember when we absolutely blew Burnley away, I believe it was 5-2 on the day, where we absolutely tore them apart. And then again, somewhere in the middle of the season, I think it was back in either December or maybe January this year, where we took Newcastle to the cleaners as well. I distinctively remember Son Heung-min absolutely giving Kieran Tripper a horrendous time down that left wing on that day. And it was also the first game I saw Destiny Udogi score for us. So we have seen this sort of performance in the past, but yes, it's been few and far between ever since then because of maybe injuries, suspensions, even the international break, or rather the international duties that was expected from Sun Heung-min and Bissouma and Pepe Matassar, coupled with injuries to, say, Madison and also Van der Ven before he then came back. So yeah, it's great to see us kicking back from where we left off, and I can only hope for better things for between now and the end of the season. We still have players like Manor Solomon to come back from his injury as well. So that will be a really good boost if and when he does come back. But I'm really happy with the squad that we have right now. And even you could see that on Saturday. No, sorry, Sunday. It was Sunday when we played Villa away at Villa Park. When you saw Dragushin come on for Van der Ven when he apparently pulled his hamstring. What's a relief, and what's a sort of pleasure we took from that, from seeing Dragushin come on instead of having Ben Davis or Emerson Royal or even Eric Dyer come on in place for one of our injured centre backs. That is such a relief to see. And yes, this is by far our best 11 that we have at our disposal this season.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Everyone, please ignore the construction noises that you might hear in the background. I promise you they will go away in like half an hour. I missed a few people to say miss saying hi to a few people. Shamtan's here saying morning to the beautiful Ash and the ageless Chang. Yes, the ageless Chang who has shared his skincare routine with one and all. You must remember to follow Chang and his wonderful skincare routine, and then remember also to sub disperse between the lines with Mia, who has been kind enough to redirect everyone here. We also this is a day of superstars. We also have Kuva here saying big up Ash, Chang, and all in the chat. Hey Kuva, how you doing? And then Daniel E is here saying morning. Morning, Jose. Daniel, where's my morning? Um, and then St. Martin saying by biggest measure, biggest win was Spurs, absolutely. And then Jazz Fusion, who I don't remember if I said hi to or not, saying Ant Ball can't exist with that front line. They played well, but had to be more direct to get to 2-0. Um, yeah, we'll come back to this. I'm a star this. Um, but by intangible human measure, bigger in other ways. Yeah, definitely the intangibles on this game in terms of confidence, in terms of momentum, in terms of just like the playing style, and I feel like the managers lost in the strategy battle the minute Emery changed his playing style. I think that game was already decided on paper before it was ever played by that logic. um uh, we'll get back to that. We will discuss that. Dragusin, effortless replacement. He is hard-won character. Yes, and he also sacrificed his future fertility for us. So we must be thankful. And then everyone's talking to each other about Post Malone. A nice finish by Timo, surprising even. Yeah, I agree. The Timo Werner thing came out of nowhere. I was not expecting that. And then Adrian saying VDV will only miss the Fulham game, and then we have the 2 week international break. Honestly, Adrian, I'm actually not even worried because Regosin did a pretty good job. And then we have Mia, who is the wonderful, wonderful person who redirected to us. So big up to Mia. Um, and then Daniel's here saying, morning, Ash and Chang. Ash, I'll ask you later for my tips on my accumulator this week. Only if you want to lose money, Daniel, because clearly the predictions thing is not for me. Um, and then Potomac is saying, we blew Emery last time at home. It should have been a hat trick for Son, if not for the offside traps by Villa. Made Emery aware that they'll get blown up. Therefore, he opted to play back five. Um, and then Trading Card Game Hub is saying, I did call Chang a very nice young man. Mia told me he wasn't young. Well, he's young at heart and in his mind, which counts for something. Um, what was valued at only 2 million? Oh wait, trading cards. Okay.
Yep.
Um, and then Three-Legged Dog is saying, our first half play is interesting. I like watching our team pass the ball around tiring opposition, but I think they're worried about conceding a goal and causing too much caution. Okay, let's get down to it. Do you think that so let's go to this comment here, the one about Emery changing his tactics because he realized that we'd get like the Sunny hat trick of offsides would not exist in this game. But don't you think that that's Aston Villa's success, right? That high line, they're the team in the Premier League that does the offside trap best, right? They're able to maintain that high line because of the confidence they have in catching teams in that offside trap. So by deciding to play differently, thinking that Sun would just time his runs better, don't you think that you sort of showed that you don't have confidence in your own system? Like a lot of people were telling Ange that you must change the way you play. It's naive to play the way you're playing because you don't have the players to play with. Davies and Emerson cannot play the way you want them to play, and so you should change the way you play. Is this a cautionary tale, do you think? This
Yes,
Villa
of course.
game?
Yes, of course. I do feel this will be something that the players would throw caution to the wind because honestly, if and I really do hope this doesn't come to pass, but if Sunny really does uh, slow down, whereby his pace, his his acceleration, even his top speed. If it doesn't hopefully it doesn't falter, or it doesn't slow down in the coming months or even the coming years. But there is that worry, there is that concern that if he does lose the kind of bite to his play, then maybe staying or rather sticking in center forward might be the best way forward for him. Although I will also mention that he isn't the tallest player in the league, and that he might actually lose out on height if he were to go up against a very big, burly defenders, the kind of sort of like a Virgil van Dijk, or even Van der Ven and Romero. If when it comes up against the big boys, that is the worry for Son Heung-min. But until that happens, I am more than happy to see him strut his stuff, to do what he does best. And if his performance away at Villa is anything to go by, I think he still has a few good seasons left in him. I'm not going to subscribe to this line of thought that he's already past his prime, that he's already a washed up player, and that he has nothing left to offer. I think that would be very disrespectful to him, especially if you were to look at his XG stats, his expected goals from the chances that he himself sometimes create out of nothing. I think that is something that you cannot dismiss outright, and that he will be very, very integral and important to our team, our club, our squad, to even to British football, the Premier League as a whole. When you see, just how much he means to us Asians, and also to to football fans, neutral football fans, for that matter, who really wish to see nothing more than free flowing football, attractive football, and Sun Heung-min for me ticks all of that.
Yeah, I think he's just the epitome of all things football for us Asians, right? Like he's the one who made it, and like he also plays the kind of brand of football that you like imagine playing. Like he's the attacking player who can score the kind of goals like that Burnley goal, or like the goal against Arsenal. Those really attractive goals that make the highlight reels and the comps videos. So it's just, yeah, he's one of those heroes. I gotta go back to the first half. I was listening to a few other podcasts and like channels, and what they were saying is that really Spurs were not actually playing that well, especially in the first half. They were saying that what was really happening was that Emery changed up his tactics, and Villa was just too tired to sort of like show up. And really, that our forwards, someone mentioned that actually our forwards can't play Ange ball, and that we had to be more direct to get the 2-0. What do you think about, like, critique, I suppose, like that?
Well, you could say, on the most part, or rather for the better half, for the better part of the first half, you could see actually there was some tiredness and some fatigue from the Villa players, and I believe that has something to do with their midweek excursion to Amsterdam, away at Ajax, where they drew that match. That would have certainly been a factor if they didn't get sufficient rest coming back from abroad. But you know, if that is the kind of formation, if those are the kind of players that Unai Emery is going to deploy on a day, we can only play what's in front of us. And if that, if that makes us look good, then it is what it is. I mean, we have to adapt our strategies and our formations, and also our passages of play to suit, or rather to counter whoever it is that we play against. And if that is the kind of team that Unai Emery puts up, then that's the kind of squad that we have to play against. And if it makes us look good, all the better for it. I wouldn't really submit, or rather I wouldn't subscribe to this thought, or this notion that we can only play well against teams who are tired, or teams who just sit back and soak up pressure and allow us to dominate the possession. Because honestly, if you to look at the Wolverhampton Wanderers game at home and the Crystal Palace game, and also this recently concluded Aston Villa game, we had actually more of the possession in all of these games. We had something like 70% against Wolves, close to 80% against Crystal Palace, and then another 70% of the possession against Aston Villa. That shows that we are dominating, whether we like it or not. Whether the opposition is actually just gifting us this possession and looking to hit us on the counter, that is actually a very big excuse to say that we can only do well, or we only look good against teams like this. I feel that we create our own chances. We decide how and when we decide to show up on the match, and I am more than satisfied and happy seeing how we've been playing under Big Ange. I feel that Ange ball really works, despite what many may say about us and his tactics and also the way we set up. I mean, let's just be honest. We as Spurs fans, we can only hope that the team plays open attacking football. Because if we are just looking to do whatever Aston Villa and Wolverhampton Wanderers and even Crystal Palace are looking to do week in, week out, that is to just sit back, soak up pressure, pass sideways, pass backwards, looking to hit teams on the counter, is nothing different from, say, Conte ball, or even Jose Mourinho dinosaur football. So I'm really loving what we are producing on the pitch, and I believe with all my heart that if there ever was one manager who is going to lead us to the light and actually win us some silverware and trophies in the future, it's got to be Big Ange.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I gotta say hi to another superstar. This is just one of those star-studded streams. Eugene is here saying from Spurs Vision TV, saying hi everyone, big up, hi to you as well, Eugene. I want to quickly sort of also talk about something Ellie has mentioned. She says we need to keep all our 13 players fit, and that includes Benny and the Dragon. Benny and the Dragon. That sounds like a movie, or like Benny and the Dragon. I know VDV pulled up, so 12 fit players will be it um if he needs an op. So I kind of wanted to discuss this with you. The one sort of like relief that I had during the game was that when VDV went down, in my head I was like, we have Dragushan. Like there was just this calm that spread over me by the fact that we don't have to have Emerson or Davies take that place. Not that I'm not appreciative of their efforts throughout the season, but the truth is they're just not the same quality of player. And when we had Dragushan sort of slot in, and he did a considerably good job. I thought he was good at passing out from the back. He was quick, he was direct. He had a few long balls in him as well, which is a skill that we don't use quite enough. So I do think that he showed that he has a range of abilities. His defensive work off the ball also wasn't too bad. He made a few mistakes here and there, but it's his first match. He's just starting out, so obviously there'll be some rust involved in that. But I kind of wanted to sort of bring that up and play a game of name that team, in the sense, can you name a team that has three quality center backs? I don't mean like two center backs and a replacement that's decent. I mean three like exceptional center backs. So let's go through the teams, right? There's Man City. Man City, the argument can be made for Man City because they have like Guardiol, Stones, Akanji, and then Ake as well, but he's playing fullback right now. Um, but then, so like the argument can be potentially made for Man City. But then you think about Arsenal. They have Saliba and Gabriel, who've been excellent this year. Can you like, but the drop off after that, so like Ben White is playing fullback, so he's not available to play center back. So the drop off after that is pretty high, right? And with Liverpool, if Van Dijk gets injured, um Konate is already injured. If Van Dijk gets injured, I don't want any player to ever get injured. I'm just saying that if it happened, um, he has Liverpool has Kwanzaa and Konate, who's currently injured, and Gomez can slot in there as well. So, do you think, is there a team in the Premier League currently that has three quality centre backs, like three amazing centre backs, like VDB and Romero? There is no doubt are quality centre backs. I will fight anyone who says otherwise. And now Dragushin, if he proves himself to be that, do you think we've just like, because he's not being replaced by Sanchez or by um you know uh, all of this dross that we've had in the recent past, like Adair, Sanchez, Davies, uh, who else? They're just like this whole like turnaround of like bad basic center back. So like City is the only one you can say has that sort of depth, right? What do you think?
I think you've already pretty much answered this question with everything that you've said up to now, with regards to which are the teams that actually have quality centre backs that could walk into any other team in the Premier League. The top three in itself, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, I feel they all have this uh, s- uh, quality in depth to their defensive line. I I would say that maybe the only other team that actually comes close to matching those top three with quality centre backs would be Spurs, because Romero, Van der Ven, and Dragushin themselves, they are very capable centre backs. Make no mistake about it. But I really can't think of many other teams that really have this good or this fabulous of a back three or a back four pairing. Maybe on a day you could say that Chelsea, if they do spend well, if they do, invest in the right players, they could build up that squad, that they build up that defensive backline. But currently this season, that is sadly not the case for them. And you could also say the same for the likes of Newcastle or even Manchester United, who themselves have had horrendous centre back pairings. You need only look at Johnny Evans, and you just think to yourself, why is Johnny Evans even still at Manchester United at whatever age he is right now, when Manchester United could pretty much just throw the checkbook at whatever club that they fancy pinching their best centre back from them. I mean, Manchester United being Manchester United, getting someone like a Johnny Evans makes absolutely no sense. So yeah, I think only the top three, the current top three in the Premier League, really have those quality centre backs that could walk into another team, and maybe a close fourth would be us, because of just purely because of Van der Ven, Romero, and Dragushin.
Yeah, and that sort of where like makes me feel optimistic for the future, like to see, in as a Spurs fan, to see in any position squad depth. For me, like where the quality is not really dropping that much. I mean, it remains to be seen with Dragusin, but I'd like to think that that's the case. uh, it's just a new experience. It's a very strange experience, don't you think? Like in some ways, because in our front line we've had Harry Kane and Sonny there for so long that from there anything is a drop in quality. And in our midfield, sometimes when we have our ball playing midfielders, then when go back to Hoybier and Skip, it's a tremendous drop in quality. And no offense, Ellie, I know you're listening. I do appreciate the work Oibier puts in. So when you think about it in those terms, if either of our fullback is injured, we get Emerson or Davies or whoever else slots in, Sessignon if he's ever going to be fit. So it's just an enormous drop in quality. So just to see even in a single position, I mean the goalkeeper is ridiculous, from Vicario to Foster is in, it's like heaven and hell. So I appreciate the fact that there is even a single position where we have that.
Speaking of, if I may just add something very quickly, I would like to ask you and also the people in the chat as well who are tuning in right now, with regards to our second choice goalkeeper, a long term second choice goalkeeper that is to actually not only just play a big part role in maybe domestic cups and also away days in Europe, but actually to challenge, to properly challenge Vicario for that starting spot as our number one goalkeeper. Whom would you actually actively try to recruit this coming summer transfer window if we are to actually get a formidable replacement for Fraser Foster as our second choice goalkeeper? I would like to throw this question to you, Miss Ash, and also to the people in the chat whom you think are suitable candidates to fill up that role as our second choice goalkeeper.
Second choice goalkeeper is really hard, because if you would ask me first choice goalkeeper, I mean, I'd obviously take Vicario, but if Vicario wasn't there, there are lots of people who good second choice goalkeepers who'd want to become first choice goalkeepers. But for someone to uh, know that they're not going to play a lot of football and to sit on the bench and be second choice, I would, instead of we already have three goalkeepers at Spurs. So the first thing I would do is clear out the like the waiting line. We don't need three goalkeepers here. We just, like, three apart from Vicario. So first thing I do is I would clear out that uh, Ross. So if we didn't want Foster, they extended, to answer Jazz Fusion's question, they extended Foster's contract by a year. So in a year we'd have to look for another goalkeeper anyway. Um, but um, so I'd like to do that, and I'd like to see if there is somebody in the club, in the academy, who deserves that spot. Um, Secondly, if that is not the case, which it probably isn't, because they're not even being chosen a second choice goalkeeper, and um, so that leads me to believe that we're probably going to look outside of our own club. Um, in that case, I'd probably go for somebody young who'd learn, because now Vicario will be 27, right? So after some time, he's going to get some experience. So I'd like somebody who learns off of Vicario and who learns off of, like, it was really nice when Laris was here for that reason, that there was someone to sort of learn off of. So I'd like to see us get someone young, like a generational talent, and then like potential generational talent, and then work him in to learn behind Vicario. Because Vicario's 27, he's going to play for a long time. I don't see anybody coming in here who's established and 25, 26 themselves and competing for that position. And I don't want the kind of case that happened with Raya and uh, what's his name, um uh, Ra- uh, Raya and
Is it the
Ra-
Arsenal goalkeeper?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, the name is escaping me. Um,
I talk
uh,
about Ramsdale.
Ramsdale. That's the one. Sorry,
Okay,
I just had a brain freeze
Ramsdale.
moment there.
Okay.
I don't want that sort of situation to be repeated at Spurs. Like, it's good to compete for places, but not when it creates toxicity in the dressing room. And the goalkeeper is very different as a positional place than other places on the team. Where forwards are interchangeable, you can't change a goalkeeper halfway through a game. I mean, people change them for penalties sometimes, but that's about it. Or if a goalkeeper is injured, but I don't think it's suitable, especially if you play out from the back, to keep chopping and changing your goalkeepers. So I don't agree with Arteta that you should change your goalkeeper halfway through a game if you feel like it's not working out for you. So I feel like goalkeeper. Also, I do feel like goalkeeper, we can just wait until Foster's contract runs out. It's not the highest priority for me right now. Um, what do you think? Is this chat have any answers? Um, After Fraser Foster leaves at the end of the season, I expect Josh Keely or Chris Gunter to be number two. I doubt Whiteman. Austin and Whiteman are both like 22, 23, from what I remember. No, wait. Austin is 24 and Whiteman is 22, if I'm not wrong. So, like they're already way past the time when they should have been selected. So if they haven't shown promise till now, I think that perhaps they just don't have it in them. Josh Keely, he's still pretty young though. I'd imagine he'd require some work, but I think that would be a good situation where we put Josh Keely in as the second, who learns off of Vicario and grows into his place. But in that sort of situation, I do not know if I have enough faith currently in Josh Keely, although I rate him in the youth setup to play, say, an FA Cup quarterfinal. Like, because traditionally the second goalkeeper plays in the cups, right? Um, so
Just
let's
to add,
sort of.
just to add what Mr. Adrian Sroka is has mentioned down here, Austin and Whiteman as our number two, both of them are already 25 years old. Brendan Austin and Alfie Whiteman are already 25 years old. They're only 2 years younger than
Yes,
uh,
25, that's the age.
Vicario, which is actually what brought to mind this long-term replacement for Fraser Foster. As much as I would like to be like Levy, as much as I like to save and sort of like hold back wherever it's not necessary, but if we are to push on, I really feel that the second choice goalkeeper should be seriously looked at in the summer. Although I do fully agree with you, it's not a priority, but it will be it very well will be a priority in about 12 months from now, when we have fully gone past the halfway line of next season, and hopefully into the knockout stages of the Champions League competition next season. I was actually the reason why I brought this up was because I was looking at the list of goalkeepers who are actually free agents or on a free right now, and I'm surprised that names like what do you call this, David De Gea. David De Gea is still a free agent, and it's only like something like 31 or 32, and that's kind of
He's
surprising.
like, the reason he's a free agent is that his salary is just through the roof. United have thrown so many wages at this man that even if a club wanted David De Gea, they just could not afford him, especially with FFP and the current financial situation.
Yeah, I fully agree with you on that, which is why now when we actually come to think of it, this second choice goalkeeper won't be an easy choice at all, especially if you want someone who can do a lot better than what Fraser Foster did this season in his one and only competitive match, which was the Fulham away League Cup loss, which I did bring up a bit earlier in the stream, whereby he was absolutely horrendous in that penalty shootout. He did absolutely nothing in that penalty shootout. Not that it's actually expected for any of our goalkeepers to actually do well. Especially our second string goalkeepers to do well in any sort of a penalty shootout, but to at least offer something better, something that you would actually feel that we had a fighting chance to begin with, not just think of the penalty shootout as a foregone conclusion even before it's properly started. So this is something that I'm sure the likes of Scott Munn or Johan Lang or even Big Ange would have given some serious consideration. if there is one if there is one person in the entire Tottenham hierarchy which I would fully back to get us a decent replacement, it will be Don Paratici. And I'm sure if he's already got us Vicario from Serie A over in Italy, who's to say that there won't be another good goalkeeper, an upcoming and a young prospect or talent from Italy that Fabio Paratici will be lining up for us to sign, along somewhere along the same lines as what he's already done with Lucas Bergval and I can't remember the other centre back, but the other Vuskovic. Yes, that's the name. Vuskovic
Vuskovic.
from Croatia. Yep,
Luka Vuskovic.
Vuskovic. Yeah, Luka Vuskovic and Bergval. So maybe you never know if there's another young goalkeeper who's in his late teens who might very well be our new second string goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Back to you, Miss Ash.
Hopefully Vuskovic doesn't grow anymore. I mean, after you reach 6'5", I wonder if you can still even play football. I mean, if you, of course you can. Crouch was a example of that, but it's harder when you're that tall. Um, all of the Sunny love in the chat. I gotta say, like Sun, if he hadn't gone for the Asian Cup, I genuinely think he would have been up for a golden boot. I think that he could have been up for having the highest number of chances created. Um, so I do think that his stats would have been off the roof if he had not missed those games. So I wish he hadn't gone for the Asian Cup, especially because they didn't do anything. They were so bad in the Asian Cup. I just wish that it wasn't such a wasted opportunity where he didn't do anything here and he wasn't there available for Spurs either. So it makes me feel so angry. The Asian Cup just makes me feel so oh my god, there's so much hidden trauma here with India's performance and with Korea's performance. Oh god, I don't even want to think about it now.
And to make matters worse, actually, Sun Heung-min came back from the Asian Cup with a dislocated finger, which
Yeah.
just which just really makes it all that much worse. But I'm glad it's just a finger, and not
Yeah, like
maybe
Ant
a
said,
sprain. Yeah,
like I
and
said,
not
even
a
if he lost his arm, it'd be fine. Honestly.
that
Um.
would be horrendous.
Yeah, yeah. Please don't lose your arm. Nobody should lose their arms, including three-legged dog who has limbs instead of arms. And then Ellie's saying, "What I suggest Emery should get his players fitter as to be successful on all fronts." Yeah, absolutely. Fitness is so important. I think that's what, like, the reason Andrew's our players were getting injured a lot is because we were trying to push that fitness thing, and I feel like next year we'll all be so much fitter for that effort that it'll show in our performance. I think with the Pochettino team as well, what we always did in a game, whether we won it or lost it, is that we constantly ran and we were one of the fittest teams in the Premier League. And I think that really helped us sort of get over the line, despite the fact that our squad depth was so bad. Um, front three remains a combination log game, game to game. Yeah, absolutely. I really wish that somebody would figure out what our best front three is, because it's still not there yet. And Jose is reminding us as supervisor in chief that you must like and comment, and if you can, share, subscribe, all of those good things. Smash the Villa game was new. Other YouTube commentators noticed this is a new thing. Um, Villa game was new. Say Martin, if you could clarify what that means. And then we have Paddy Hartnett here, the other Paddy, of the two Paddies, Ash and Paddy. Good morning, you fabulous people. Good morning to you, Paddy. Um, and then Ben saying, sounds like my average day in customer service. Ben, you crack me up. And then say Martin saying mature was the word used. Mature performance. Do you mean like by the Spurs team? Um, like a coming of age sort of performance? I actually don't think it was a coming of age. Like I feel like this was always there, um, and it just sort of the ingredients all sort of came together for it to be successful. I think this was always the intention. It was always to play like that. And Chang is right. The Newcastle game, the Burnley game before that, we were seeing glimpses of it before that as well. But yeah, I think yeah, coming of age, I would say yes. Mature, I would say no. Simply because Ange Ball, like I cannot think of Ange Ball as mature. I'm sorry. The way I think of the word mature is, seasoned football where you, for example, take the ball to the corner. You do the practical things. You fall when you get contact. We only have one penalty this season. That's because, we don't play like that. We're always constantly going for goal. And part of the reason is because it's not naivety, I'd say it's sort of like a thrill, like a thrill of playing the beautiful game. But in a way where we win, of course, because the winning is important. So
I believe that maturity could be directed at the players and how they conducted themselves on the pitch
yeah.
against Aston Villa more than anything, because there was always that the underlying story, or rather the saga going between Matthew Cash and Romero, or rather the Matthew Cash and Bentancur incident from earlier this season. That was the one thing that a lot of people were saying, Romero is going to be going for blood. He's going to exact his revenge on Matthew Cash. And I'm so glad that didn't happen. And that maturity also was on show when John McGinn, he clattered into Destiny Udogi needlessly. I thought it was a very rash sort of, very uh, hot blooded, or very feisty sort of a challenge that he went on in. He had absolutely he made no attempt to even play the ball. His intention was just to take out Udogi, and how the players reacted, how they conducted themselves was, I think, part and parcel, something to do with that maturity that maybe San Martin is talking about. And if we are to actually prove ourselves as worthy winners, if we are to take that next step in our evolution of being a top team, I cannot stress enough that this maturity, the controlling of your emotions and keeping your emotions in check during the game, this has got to improve, because we've seen it multiple times. Uh, in previous seasons, the number of needless yellow cards and red cards that Christian Romero has been getting has really gotten out of hand, especially during the Conte era. And I also want to quickly add on this statistic which I read somewhere, that after the Aston Villa game, Christian Romero has now gone 10 games without a card, which is actually incredible given his historic
Hallelujah.
statistic. Yep, exactly. 10 games without a cut, 10 consecutive games, not just 10 games this season, but 10 consecutive games without a single cut to his name for Christian Romero. That's got to be a new record of sorts. And that, for me, is everything to do with maturity. Back to you, Miss Ash.
Yeah, I do agree with the Christian Romero thing. And talking about Christian Romero, oh wait, I have to say hi to a few people before that. Tequila, hello, how you doing? And then Audio Artisan is here as well. Hi, Audio Artisan. Um, so I wanted to come back to this comment. Wait, it's really far back because yeah. So this one-on-one thing, right? I do believe that Ange Ball exists because it's so hard to be one on one, right? Because when you have two center backs at the back, you would think ideally in a high line that they'd be isolated, right? Romero and Van der Ven. But in this game, in the Villa game, they won all of their one on one duels. So Romero won all of them. VDV won all except one, but in that also he recovered. Um, and so that tells me like how difficult if you have a quality center back, how difficult it is to play against them one on one with the ball. And and also tells me that you would have to be someone of the quality of Sunny to be able to do it, and that most teams in the Premier League don't have that. And so generally, our center backs, even though the argument is they would be isolated, would actually not suffer from that, because Romero and Van der Ven, uh, most times would actually win that battle. What do you think, Chang?
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. With regards to winning back possession, to recycling possession, and to really play a very high line and be consistently pressing the opposition, whether it's at home or away at their own place, but to play our game, to generate the kind of long-term intensity and also aggressiveness, not just for one half, but the entire 90 minutes, both halves. I believe that is actually the secret to uh, putting up a very good performance, or rather, this is the secret ingredient, the secret missing ingredient to what makes Ange ball so easy on the eye and so effective with the kind of players that we have in our squad. Which is also why earlier at the beginning of this stream, almost an hour ago, I made some comments about how Sun Heung-min isn't getting any younger, and that there will come a time. Although I wish it will never happen, but there will come a time and day whereby he will slow down, and that will have a big impact on how he is deployed, how he actually manages himself on the pitch. When he no longer has speed on his side. And that is why I mentioned how he should be really, very conservative with how he just seemingly wants to throw himself at every single opportunity when it comes to international games for South Korea, or even for Spurs in domestic cups and also in European competition. I believe that the secret to this is actually knowing when and how to deploy Sun Heung-min in these high pressure matches, especially those top four encounters in which he is almost undroppable to a certain point, which is where a lot of his colleagues, his teammates, the likes of a Timo Werner, Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski, maybe even a Manor Solomon, they will have to pick up where he's leaving off. If we are to get anything from the current crop of players that we have at our disposal, that is assuming that you know Richarlison is still part of the squad, and that we would have to really look into getting someone who is a long-term replacement for Sun Heung-min to maybe help out with the development of Brennan Johnson, and also maybe look to replace Richarlison for the long term. But until such time that happens, I am more than happy to just maintain having a Son Heung-min for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, none of us would mind that. Absolutely, to have Son Heung-min, as long as we can possibly have him, it would be amazing. A new name in the chat. Come on, you Spurs. Hey, Destiny Spurs 5, how you doing? Um, and since Adrian has brought it up, I kind of thought, like, let's not like, we won't spend too much time on it, but like the new Champions League format. Have you seen it? So basically, there'll be four groups of 9 teams, and then uh, there, instead of the regular 125 matches that we the Champions League plays, there'd be actually 100. Sorry, that we play in the season in totality. There'd be 189 matches, and that means that each team would have to play 2 games extra. And already, you've seen the fixture list. If you're playing in 4 competitions, like you can see with Liverpool, it's just taking its toll, right? So do you think that do you how do you think about the new format?
For Spurs, it's actually a good thing because I would love nothing more than to give our fringe players more game time. Not only just the domestic cups, but also experience in Europe, whether that's going to be Champions League or Europa League or even Conference League. That would be what do you call this, decided later this season. But for me, on a very personal level, assuming too that we do make it to the Champions League come next season, I would love nothing more than to give opportunities for our current squad, our current you know quorum of players to get more experience outside of domestic football. Whether you're playing over in Russia, in Ukraine, over in Spain or Germany, even in France or Holland, anywhere, this can only be good for the players. Although, yes, there is also that worry where you have fatigue, you have tiredness, maybe even one game too many in your calendar year, or rather in your season, to have to contemplate, because we as Spurs fans, we've seen just what a big impact having European football does to our fixtures, especially if you are playing on a Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you play again over the weekend on a Saturday or Sunday. That would definitely play a big part in our season. But I wouldn't have it any other way. For me, regardless of what the system is going to be, whatever changes they make, they are going to make for the betterment of the competition, for the betterment of European clubs. I would just take it as it is. I'm sure Big Ange has a strategy to work his team around this if we do make it to Champions League. And what else can I say other than it will be a good platform for these fringe players of ours to showcase what they're capable of, and maybe even who knows, maybe they might even use their European performances to break into our starting 11 to play domestic league football. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know. It is good for Spurs. Also, unfortunately, good for Spurs that Arsenal won their game. In terms of just the coefficient and maybe the fifth spot opening up. Um, and I agree with Saint Martin and Jazz Fusion, as Vicario would say, and Jacob shows this clip on United Spurs of America a lot. Beautiful from the back. I wish I had the clip to show y'all. Uh, and then Dan Lee say we need to find the right balance in the squad, because even though defense is quality, they're getting exposed a bit by the midfield. We should have more clean sheets than we have. Yeah, I feel like it's a process. Once we figure out that midfield, Benton Kerr gets some game time under him. Bisuma's clearly improving. Like you can see in the last couple two games, he's been improving. What do you think, Chang?
Yeah, for me it's always for me, as not only football but life in general is an ever it's a never ending learning process, and for footballers, especially over in Britain, this has always been the case, regardless if you are from the academy, regardless if you're homegrown, regardless if you're playing from abroad or you come from abroad and you play over in Britain. Uh, it is it is a never ending learning process. And what separates the really good players, the really, the really talented and the really ambitious players from maybe say someone with only eyes on a prize or eyes on a silverware, or even just cashing in on a big paycheck at a very young age. I think that this is actually what makes a footballer a footballer. And for those who are really determined, they have ambition and they know what they want, not only in their careers but what they want from life. These are the players who actually go far, and they while not many of them actually get to realize their dreams, not many of them get to fulfill their dreams, either playing for their dream club or winning the biggest prize in British football or world football. But it's always that drive, that ambition, and even their personal goals that they've set for themselves that really sets them apart from, say, any other ordinary player. For me, you live, you learn, you take each game at a time. You go through seasons as they come along, and if you can improve on yourself, then that's for your own betterment. And of course, if you look at it from a bigger picture, a larger perspective, it is also a good positive, or rather a good what you call it, plus point for your club if you can help that club to elevate their game. But yeah, for any of these players, you know what? The best thing that they can do for themselves is to actually push themselves and expect more from themselves on any match day that they take part in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, there's a bunch of people who've joined, so I gotta say hello to them. Meta Football's here saying hello, Ash and Chang. Great to see you both. Just popped in to say hi and all the best. Thanks, Meta Football. Appreciate the uh Be like Meta Football. Like, subscribe, all of the good things. Pop, but don't pop in to say hi. Stay as long as you can. Um, yeah, I did have something else I wanted to bring up, which is that um do you think so? Yesterday I was watching. I'm not because I'm not English. I'm not from England. I'm not watching like radio, listening to radio, or whatever. But sometimes I tune into some of these really, the explosive talk sport videos that they sometimes make and clip on the internet. Those can be quite entertaining. And there was this one talk sport video about how much about whether they thought that it was a red or a yellow, and how they thought um, that the game was going soft because that was a red. So that was the sort of contention. uh, do you think that was a red?
Which one do you say?
The
Which
McGinn.
I don't know. Which game or which player did you say you think was a red, or is this just a? It's
No,
just
I'm talking
just
about
just
the McGinn tackle on Udogi, like
okay,
the challenge on
okay,
Udogi. A lot of people on Talksport were saying that
okay.
it wasn't red; it was actually
All
a
right.
yellow. But the game has gone soft, and that's why it was considered a red. And it was a really funny conversation to me as a Spurs fan. But it's just that is that just my Spurs bias talking, or do you think that it was a red? Because I think it was a red.
It was definitely a raid. I can't see, I really don't see how there are actually pundits who can call themselves pundits if they don't think that that challenge was anything but a raid. Because honestly, John McGinn had no intention to play the ball. This was really, I believe I even mentioned this earlier on in this on this show at the beginning of this show when we were talking about that Villa game. Uh, for me, John McGinn fully knew what he was doing, and he fully went into that challenge with every intention of hacking Udogi down, maybe just to make a statement or to vent his frustrations. But that was always a rate the moment you do something like that. And there are actually other incidents that involve our Spurs players which they picked up rates for less than that. If you look at the rates that Romero has picked up over the years, some of those red cards weren't even red cards. It's maybe because of the follow through. Like if you to look at, I believe it was it Jota? It was either Jota or which other Liverpool player earlier this season, where the follow through from his tackle on one of the Spurs players was upgraded from a yellow to a red. That you could argue maybe it wasn't a red, but because when you watch it again uh, in slow motion on VAR, then maybe it looks a lot worse in slow motion. But if anything, those are actually the kind of challenges that shouldn't be a red. Maybe a yellow would be sufficient. If you look at the way those challenges were made and how nothing much came of those challenges. So yeah, those are the kind of contentious calls from the officials that you could say shouldn't be a red. It should be just only a yellow. But make no mistake, that tackle by John McGinn on Udogi was a red card all day long.
Yeah, I agree as well. I agree completely because he had no intention of playing the ball. Jishnu is here, our resident scout, saying that's a red carpet. Yeah, absolutely, Jishnu. Um, it was it wasn't just a red; it was a red all day long. It was a red all the way to the Oscars. Like it was definitely a red. Um, Another thing that I wanted to oh wait, I have to answer this question. How many languages do I speak? Well, I speak English and Hindi, which is my uh, which is like an official language in India, and I speak Marathi, which is my mother tongue. Mother tongue, as in like your native language. And I speak a little bit of French, like just a smattering, not enough to get by in France. And I speak a little bit of Russian because I spent a few years there when I was young. So yeah, I speak about, how many was that? Five languages. Um, Yeah. And then we have Adrian saying, I think we pick up fewer yellow cards playing a high line than a low block, though I haven't seen the stats, it's just an observation. I actually agree with this, especially in the case of the defenders, because you don't have the kind of pressure, where you're constantly sort of barrage after barrage of attacks that you're having to stop. You're going to foul somebody when it's especially when it's so crowded back there in a low block where you have 10 men behind the ball, plus you have six of the opposition in like intertwined in the middle of it. It just becomes really like crowded and chaotic, and the chances of having a foul are just more, I feel. What do you think, Chang?
This is a strange one to have to answer and a tricky one too as well. Mm,
I mean, there is the opposite also, that you would say, because for example, Man City does like the most number of tactical fouls from what I've seen,
yes,
uh,
yes,
because
okay.
uh, because they have a high line, and then they're trying to stop people from going back. So you do see like Man City do quite a few tactical fouls. So there is that aspect of the game as well. So I haven't seen the stats, so it'd be hard to say.
All I can say on this matter is that I mean, if it's part and parcel of the game, and you're not breaking any rules, or you're not trying to uh, give the sports a bad reputation, then if it's part and parcel of the rules, if there's nothing that says that you can't do what it is that you are doing, making all these tactical fouls as it's being called, or even taking one for the team, is another way of saying it. I mean, if it's part and parcel of the sport, then it is what it is. The rules were written and designed this way for maybe the game to have a different bite to it, a different dimension. Not just playing it the way we've been so used to it, but maybe trying out different things to give the game a different dimension. Although I would also like to add that this sort of a tactical fouls is frowned upon. That is not really there's not it is not looked at favorably. Put it this way, and teams who deploy this sort of a dirty tactics. Not well, it's not exactly dirty, but it's disruptive. Okay, it's a very disruptive tactic, and I believe teams like Stoke City were good at it at one point when they were still in the Premier League. And the other team that also comes to mind who, are very notorious with this sort of tactical fouls back in the day. From when I remember, Wigan Athletic would be another one of those teams before they are where they are now. Wigan Athletic, even Portsmouth too. Portsmouth, to a certain extent, when Harry Redknapp was in charge of Portsmouth, that's actually what they did most of the time. I would even say that that's actually the primary tactic that Portsmouth, or rather Harry Redknapp used at Portsmouth, that actually won them an FA Cup. Yeah, it was an FA Cup that they won. Harry Redknapp won with Portsmouth, and it was things like this. Those tactical fouls, trying to slow the game down, try to uh, wear down a clock. It's frowned upon, but there's nothing in the rules that says that you can't do it so long as you stay within the rules. So until or unless this is actually addressed, and the a large portion, or rather a large number of clubs in the Premier League actually come together in a consensus that say that something must be done about it, it's just going to continue being what it is, Miss Ash.
Yeah, I agree with that. Still call has still called. How did you come to support Spurs? Just asking. So well, my brother and I had a few uh, friends whose family was like British friends whose family was Spurs, and they kind of converted me. I'm not gonna lie. Um, and so yeah, I started supporting Spurs since I was in school. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier in the show, none. I have a problem. Okay, I want to take this up today. I have a problem with the Spurs kids. Okay, I started supporting Spurs um, a, as a kid. So obviously, none of those kids fit me anymore because, well, you grow as when you're a woman and you grow up. You unfortunately also grow breasts. So unfortunately, those kids don't fit me anymore. So I have to like raid my brother's closet for his old kids. But those kids are so uncomfortable in the summer. They should produce, like, if they really want to get Asian fans on board, they should find a way to make these kids so that they're less uncomfortable when in like non-European climates. Like really, so that these like people can wear their kits when it's like 40 degrees centigrade outside, and still sort of feel at least comfortable as they do in a cotton like t-shirt or something. So this is a grouse I will take up with kit makers everywhere. They can produce like, I don't know, special edition kits or like different, or they can think about the fabric they use, that it's can keep in heat and then let go of heat as well, like those sportswear fabrics sometimes that exist. um what do you think, Chang? Chang is the resident kit expert. Do you have this problem with kits as well?
I don't actually have a problem with these kids. In fact, I was actually led to believe. If I'm trying to see if I can find it here. Okay, here it is. Is this the one? No, this is not the one. There are actually some kits that we've actually produced over the years that are supposed to be breathable. The fabric is supposed to help regulate your perspiration, and as well your what do you call this? The heat, and also the sweat that you generate is supposed to make it very sort of like breathable material. The one range of kit which I really remember having this breathable fabric, as they call it, was Under Armour. Under Armour actually had this design feature that actually helps to regulate the the flow, or rather the perspiration from players when they are actively involved in any sport that they are partaking in. And I do agree that there have been kids in the past that are really, really uncomfortable. They are, it's either the fitting, the cutting, or even the fabric in which they are produced. Really produce a very clingy, very sort of like lycra, or almost like a body glove kind of feeling. Let me see now. I believe it was the Kappa or Kappa, however pronounce it, during the Martignol days, where we had that. I believe it was what was it? Was it no? It's not Hewlett Packard. It was some sponsor. I remember the Kappa. Oh, I think it was uh no, it's not that as well. I can't remember the sponsor for that. I wish I had my jerseys here. I wish I had my
We
whole
will
kit
do the
to look
kit
at.
research for everyone, and we will keep you posted.
Yeah.
Chang, homework
Mm.
homework for next week. As an educator, I'm giving you homework. Um,
Okay, good. That's good.
Google list. um, and then uh, we got to address this. Ben saying the Premier League will be the Super League in a few years. Mark my words. So now the context of this is that uh, you know because technology is improving, geographies are shortening. It's very easy for Real Madrid to just be like, Premier League has the best product, I'm just going to play in the Premier League. Or Barcelona, or any of these big teams, Inter Milan. So what do you think of that, like the possibility that the Super League could just emerge out of something like the Premier League, especially because like the everyone's so happy with the constant rule unhappy with the constant rule changes, especially between UEFA and the FAs. Do you think that something like this, what Ben is suggesting, could happen, that the Premier League will be the Super League?
I really hope not. I really, really do hope not, because to me, I mean, there are some things in life are unavoidable, and sports being treated as nothing more than cash cows, or money making revenue for these big conglomerates, this what do you call this, financial entities in the world. This is nothing new. It's not only just in sports, it's almost everywhere. When you look at the society that we live in now, the modern world, that is the 21st century that we live in, money is what makes the world go round. That's what they say. And for me, sports in general is uh, not exempt from this. And I really do hope this notion of a super league doesn't get the green light. I really do hope a lot more teams actually see the reasoning and also the justification to not allow something like the Super League to go ahead, because it will not only would it kill the sport and undermine the sports integrity in general, it will also actually create a very big divide among fans and also footballing authorities in general, whereby you don't actually see these footballing clubs strictly follow or adhere to specific guidelines and regulations that have already been put in place. Although there is another way of looking at it, or rather another way of trying to justify the existence of the Super League if it ever does take place, in which you could say that when you have a Super League, when you have teams that are fully committed to providing only the highest level of football that you can, put together on the face of the planet, that is maybe the only thing you could justify. But it actually then makes way for a counter rebuttal in saying that when you do things like this, you don't give any chance whatsoever to young footballers to actually prove their worth on the world stage, which is what's for me this is what sport is all about, to really help promote youth, not just footballers but youth in general, the up and coming society that is to take over from us, to rule or to govern the world at some stage. We want to give this generation an opportunity to prove their worth. And I'm sad to say the Super League is not going to do that. The Super League is just only going to stunt growth on a sporting level, not only on a global scale, but on a sporting level. It's not going to help. So for me, it's a flat out no as to why the Super League should never ever be formed in any form whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I also think that, what you do in things like that is that like, you destroy local football. You're destroying the lower tiers of football, the championship and the League Two, and, like, non-league football. All of those lower tiers that you have of football, those will fall away in when the pyramid transforms. A and B, I think that, you'll price out the local fans, because all you're already doing that with tickets and, like, the rising prices and of all things in the stadium, etc. If you add to that something like this, which is all, depending on monetization, it prices out a lot of working class people who are just diehard Spurs fans. And, you're trading on the fact that they can't switch clubs, because, the love for their club trumps any sort of hate for consumerism. So unfortunately, and the product that people have bought into is that Premier League, right? Even international fans, what they want to watch is that Premier League, where, local fans are connected to their club and are, chanting and cheering in the stadium and geeing the team on. That's the kind of product that the international fans attach themselves to, and that's the community they seek when they join support for a club like Spurs, for example. So the community that they seek is not some super league, plastic super league, where everyone's sort of like, playing, the big teams are playing each other and everyone's being priced out, and you just have tourists in the stadium. That's not the football that people have signed up to watch. So anyway, that's just my opinion on things. Shemtan say we need a team, not just a bunch of individuals. Absolutely. And Rob Belcher's saying, isn't it refreshing to have such knowledgeable young people from afar giving us facts and more? I'm so impressed. Thank you so much, Rob. We try. Um, hopefully, sometimes we succeed. And then say Martin saying Team Spirit versus Villa was something I hadn't seen before. I'm Australian and I hadn't seen a soccer match before this season. That is amazing, Saint Martin. I hope that you continue to support. Um, at least I don't know if you support Spurs, but I hope that you continue to watch football and then you pick up a team that you truly support. And I hope that it's Spurs, because we kind of rule. We're a great team. Um, and then St. Martin is saying it was red. Yes, without a doubt. And Ellie is adding to that. Midfield gets exposed as a style we play so progressive with inverted fullbacks. They know that they have to forge a strong hold when out of possession with Ange Ball, but still is still in process. Yeah, absolutely, Ellie. Ange Ball is definitely still in process. Um, yeah, it was a red. It was a red. Um, and then the replay showed aggression, aimed for knee, straight catch up, but nobody wants Tottenham to be treated fairly. Yeah, I have a problem with this. The refs. Chang, do you think that the refs have been giving Spurs a raw deal since that Liverpool game? Because I kind of have like an agenda sin against this, like an agenda against the refs, because I feel like our players get fouled a lot and it's not a yellow. And then Pape Sarr, for example, gets a yellow for an absolutely, like, he just slipped and he gets a yellow. So, do you think that there's like an agenda here?
I can't justify there being an agenda or a sort of a sort of vendetta against Tottenham Hotspur Football Club by the officials. Although the events, or rather the some of the decision making in our past couple of games had actually given me second thought about that, because if you to look, I believe it was the Crystal Palace game at home, that first half, especially when I thought Timo Werner was so clearly and obviously fouled in the first half, and but no, it's not first half, the second half. It was actually the beginning of the second half, in which Timo Werner was fouled, even before Crystal Palace opened that scoring from the free kick. I thought that the officials should have at least looked at it again, look over the incident on VAR, but there was no replay. We didn't see any kind of any kind of consideration that there would even be considered a penalty worthy foul in the box. And that wasn't only the only challenge. Actually, if you were to look way back, almost at the beginning of the season, I believe it was the 2-all draw. The 2-all draw away at Bournemouth, was it? Or was it Brentford? In the beginning of the season, where I believe our players also, it was James Madison. James Madison was also brought down in the box earlier this season in one of those early games. And again, same thing, nothing given against us. And Son Heung-min was actually penalized a lot faster in that first game of the season, where he gave away the penalty that led to the game ending in a 2-all draw. That was even before that controversy with Liverpool at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So all of these actually led me to believe that maybe, just maybe, there might be something in the reasoning, that maybe we are being, we are not really given favorable calls. And it's actually not only this season, it's actually something that has been going on for a lot of seasons, even in the past, all the way back when Mendes from the halfway line against Rob Green for Manchester United away at Old Trafford. That is the first thing that actually comes to mind when you talk about Spurs not getting calls from the officials, much less VAR reviews this season alone, when decisions have actually gone against us, which I think is absolutely ludicrous. So I'm not going to get all conspiracy theory uh, on the PGMOL and also the officials when it comes to making decisions against us. I will just try to adopt Big Ange and his style in giving officials the benefit of the doubt and trusting in them, hoping that they know what they are doing. And for me, unless the level of officiating actually improves, this is something that will be a point of contention for any club, not just Spurs, but for even any of the other clubs who have something to win or something to prove in any league that they play in.
Yeah, absolutely. Ellie, I feel like you're trying to make me say a bad word, so I'm not going to say this. Um, um, but I will absolutely take you up on that offer to learn Greek. I absolutely love learning new languages, and I think that Greek's one of those really beautiful languages, and you never know, I might end up someday. I'm a beach person in general because I'm from Goa, and so I might actually end up somewhere on a beach in Greece or like in Italy, in Sardinia, or one of those nice, cool European places with lots of sand and lots of sun. Who knows? Someday. And then Phil P is here. I didn't notice you, Phil P. Where are you? Oh, here we are. Phil P is here saying, "Woo!"
Woo!
Yes, Chang, you got Chang to woo, Phil. That's amazing. um, Yeah, I'm so behind on the comments. I'm gonna skip a bunch. Please don't feel bad, anyone. I try and read all of them, but we have very little time. Um, so yeah, there's a bunch about Super League. Everyone, make sure that you do like and subscribe. Audio Artisan is asking if I've seen the podcast with Alfie Whiteman. I do listen to the Spurs podcast, but I listen to the one that has all the experienced players, like the retired players. I haven't heard Alfie Whiteman's. I will go back and check it out though. Since you've recommended it, I have a feeling it would be good. Um, and then Yeah, there's a lot about football and the Champions League. I agree with most of it, but I feel like we've addressed a lot of it. Uh, yeah, Goa's pretty beautiful. It is really nice. Uh, if anyone ever has time to have a holiday and you want to come visit, Goa's the place to go. Only thing is, you should make sure that you don't go to the tourist trap areas. Go to South Goa or go to Central Goa. Don't go to North Goa. But yeah, Goa's a lovely place. So if anyone ever has the chance. And talking about visiting, Chang, where do you plan to go? Chang is a busy man, you see. So where do you plan to go next? Where can we see you next?
So I am scheduled to appear with Mr. Eugene on Spursation TV either tomorrow or on Friday at 12 p.m. noon UK time in about say 24 hours or maybe even 48 hours depending on his decision. But yeah, the earliest I will be available unless there's something else. But the earliest I'll be available will be this coming Thursday or Friday over at Persuasion TV. That's going to be at 12 p.m. noon. And then there will be follow up by what I hope would be my third consecutive watch along over at Sock and Ball and also El Tel Cocarel, where I will be looking to rejoin both Senior Jose Garcia and Mr. Colin Sievers for our third consecutive watch along. That's going to be a lot of fun. And next Tuesday, at half to noon at 11:30 a.m. On a Tuesday morning, UK time, I will be reappearing as well on Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs with both Kate and Jimbo and hopefully Queen Ellie as well.
Yeah, it would have been
And yeah,
surprising if you had said just the Spurs who loves girls.
oh
I'm
yes,
sure that.
uh, If you were to go to the next comment, Miss Ash, then in the next comment, I believe Mr. Eugene, yep, that's the one. Mr. Eugene here is reminding me that it's going to be 1 p.m. UK time. I think because of the daylight saving, because of how the clocks have been moved back an hour. So, I mean, sorry, moved forward an hour. So, yeah, it's going to be UK time. But whether that's going to be a Friday or Thursday tomorrow. I will work that out with Mr. Eugene.
Oh, we have Leo. No, Chang. The appropriate response now is hi,
Hi,
Leo.
Leo. Hi, Leo. Hi, Leo.
Yeah, Tequila, you're just a Spurs who loves girls. Yeah. So is Kane apparently now. Or at least Jim is. Jim should do that. Jim should make his handle like just a girl who loves Spurs should be Kate's handle, and Jim should be just a Spurs who loves girls. Oh, anyway, on that note, everyone, you can head over to their channel. I think they have a show after this. But I'll see you before the Fulham game on Friday. And everyone tune in to Talking Ball and El Tel Cockerel for tomorrow's shows as well as the show tonight. Um, I have no idea what the timings are, so everyone just press the bell notification because, unlike Chang, I can't do this daylight saving calculation. I could not be bothered. Um, so, everyone, have fun. Happy Hump Day. And I will see you on Friday as usual. We play you out with the James Madison song, Come on, you Spurs.
Come
My team has got James Madison. James Madison is what we need. Whoa, thank God we got James Madison. This kid plays ball like you would never believe. Whoa.